everyone. This is Dr. Ron, and I'm coming back at you with a new episode. And it is episode number 70. It is a major milestone for us. Who would have thought 70 episodes of sharing parts and pieces of my life that hopefully have been helpful to you? Not just parts and pieces of my life, but my thoughts in general on life and what happens. So, actually, that's a good segue right into the title of this new episode. The new episode is entitled Life Happens. Then what? Right? It's a very important thing that we're about to talk about. And if you were to go back through all 69 episodes up until this one, you will find that generally speaking, there is a theme through most, if not all of them, where it talks about taking responsibility and making things happen for yourself. But I thought perhaps, given that we're erupting and coming out of a bad time that started back last March, which was 2020 March, we're all kind of shaking the troubles off, and we're looking around at opportunities, and we're becoming more positive as things appear to be getting better and better. But before we finish that thought and the rest of the episode, if you could, please tell your friends about us. Tell your family members, tell your associates, let them know that we're here to help, and we like sharing with you. And perhaps you could share with us. If you find a story or something happening in your life that is substantial and that might help others to know about it, please drop us a note down in the comments below, and perhaps we can communicate about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this new episode, number 70. Life happens, then what? You know what is an important question to ask? What happens next is up to you, or is it up to somebody else deciding for you? If life happens, what happens next is up to you, or is it up to somebody else acting on your behalf or acting on their own behalf, and you're just kind of a consequence being taken care of? And that could be in a positive way or in a negative way. Now, obviously, when you answer a question like that, you begin to think, well, there's some good things that could happen if I'm acting for myself. And then if other people are acting for me, either consciously or unconsciously, then some good things could happen there, perhaps by happenstance. A lot more things that would be not good for you could also happen. So let's talk about this from the standpoint of polar opposites. If one attitude in life is life happens, mañana, there'll always be a tomorrow. I can get started tomorrow. That's one side of thinking. That's in this direction, we'll say. The other side, or the polar opposite of that, is something like, I'm going to get up and get busy. I'm going to take control of my life. You might say it's carpe diem, seize the day, but in some definitions of carpe diem, it is seize the day without thinking about tomorrow. No. What you must do is activate this mode that you should be in, that is opposite to mañana or life happens. You activate the carpe diem mode that says, seize the day, seize today, so that you will be better off tomorrow, right? So today is the first step toward a better tomorrow. So if you activate carpe diem in that light, you're going to be better off. Now, the question also comes to mind. Why do people, a lot of people, not all people, but why do a lot of people gyrate over to mañana, I'm a free spirit, I'll just go with the flow? Well, in order to understand why a lot of people do that, let's see what you have to do if you're doing the polar opposite of that. You're seizing the day. You're taking control and responsibility for yourself, for your own life. You're creating a plan. You're executing to that plan. You're taking stock along the way against the goodness of how you're executing to that plan. When you see a need to, you modify that plan to ensure that you're going to achieve the goals that you previously set for yourself. And you're always actively embracing the plan and executing to the plan and monitoring the plan so that you are on track to achieve those goals. So now you kind of see why a lot of people want to rather be a free spirit. On one side of the spectrum, it requires no activity whatsoever, simply do nothing. Then you're going to be at the mercies of the whims of the world. You will not be captain of your own soul, as the old poem, I believe it was Crossing the Bar, states. You're going to be at the whims of happenstance and of other people and organizations who may not think of your net well-being and keep that in mind as they decide what they need to do going forward. But on the opposite side, it takes a lot of energy. It takes time and effort to stay on the ball, so to speak, to know what needs to be done and what's coming up next. You should know what you're doing today and how it relates to what needs to be done tomorrow. And what needs to be done tomorrow, how it relates to what needs to be done next week. And the week, what needs to be done next week, what should be done by the end of the quarter, the year, or the next several years. You see, creating a plan and executing to a plan and not falling prey to the whims of the world takes a lot of activity, energy, and a lot of critical thinking. And I believe that people perhaps maybe are raised up in the wrong light. They think of fate. Fate kind of happens. It's one of those nebulous things out there, and there's nothing they can do to change their fate. I firmly don't believe that. I believe that you can seize the day, take control of your life, make things happen by executing, creating, and executing to a plan, and modifying and achieving it along the way. There's nothing that replaces seizing the day. So when we look at this, the fact that lots of energy is expended, what that means is that you are investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself so that the family will benefit. You're investing in yourself and your family so that the community will benefit. And you know what? When you do that, good things do happen. Now, I will say this, and I've said it in past episodes, bad things happen on occasion to good people. It's just the nature of things. Happenstance happens, you know. In the 60s, I had some cousins killed by drunk drivers, and it was a tragedy for the family. And actually, they were my mother's own cousins, but they were our family members. And it's a tragedy when things like that happen. They didn't set out the day to go to the state fair thinking that that was going to happen. An accident happened. Bad things happen to good people. And it grieves us all when that does occur. But that does not, in any form or fashion, relieve each of us of the responsibility of seizing the day, taking control of our lives, and making things better by executing to a plan that has been well thought out. You know, Dave Ramsey is a financial guru, and he talks a lot to people at all levels of society and wealth and so forth. And he made a statement, and I'm going to paraphrase the statement, but it makes a lot of sense to me. He said, one does not wander into bankruptcy or debt and then wander out. You know what's kind of bit up into that statement, and it's under compression and it's just raging to be released and spring out of that? The fact that it takes energy and effort, not some type of wanderlust without focus or purpose, to make things happen that are good for you and your family in your life. It is a wonderful thing to know that you're doing the right thing for yourself and your family. It is a harsh reality to know that I'm just not going to make the effort to take care of myself or my family. I'm just going to let life happen, and we're going to see what happens. It could be good. It's possible. Yes, anything's possible, but the probabilities get quite remote. You see, I would rather in my own life, and this was my attitude, I would rather do as my mother-in-law said, get up and get busy and actively work to make a better life for yourself and your family than wait for somebody else to do it for me. And nobody has ever gotten rich by doing nothing, right? Nobody has ever gotten or created wealth for themselves and their family by doing nothing. It takes purpose. It takes activity. It takes a drive and consistency and persistence to make things happen so that when things do occur, most of the time they're going to be good for you and your family. Now, there are things that we can't know. I mean, we're not all knowing and all powerful, but that should not be an excuse for anybody not to do their due diligence and create good plans so that their family and themselves are better off tomorrow. So yes, it takes critical thinking, setting goals, creating a plan, executing to the plan to achieve the plan, and driving through the end line of that plan, not up to, but driving through the goals to make sure that they are met and that you have achieved. And there's one thing that you're going to find that is absolutely wonderful. The more you do this, the easier it gets. The more you do this, the more you recognize that everything in life is about discipline. And the lack of discipline gets no one anywhere. And with that, my friends, I hope you have a great life. I hope that you achieve great things. And I can point from my rocking chair in my old age retirement and say, I knew you win. And with that, you take care. And I will see you in the next episode.